We have a few good Tesla stock news stories today, and at least partially why Tesla stock is up today perhaps is because of Giga Mexico. So let's go through all of today's Tesla stock news. NHTSA just published one of the messiest documents I've seen, which reveals Tesla's battery situation, and it gives us insight into how far away is Tesla from qualifying for the $7,500 credits for the Model 3. Tesla needs to make sure that 60% of the battery components are manufactured or assembled in North America, and that 50% of the critical minerals are sourced from the US or from countries with which the US has free trade agreements. And we know that the Tesla Model 3 does not meet the criteria, but by how much? Model 3 rear-wheel drive is only at 40% and the Model 3 long range is only at 35% versus the 60% required. The Model Y though is at 70%, so that's substantially more, and the Model S is at 65% and the Model X is at 60%. Interesting that the Cybertruck is at 65% despite using 4680 batteries. Troy explains the situation a little bit. In the US, the Model 3 rear-wheel drive uses CATL LFP cells imported from China. Model 3 long range uses LG 2170 cells imported from South Korea. So that, in theory, should be no problem at all because South Korea has a free trade agreement with the US. So what's going on exactly here? And then the Model Y versions use Panasonic 21 cells produced at Giga Nevada in the US, so that certainly is no problem. So why do South Korean batteries are not good enough? Well, Troy says apparently the separator and the electrolyte in the cell come from China. And does Tesla use batteries from BYD? Yes, but only in Giga Berlin. Tesla does not use BYD batteries in China or in the US, just in Giga Berlin. Someone asked Troy, any idea why Model Y performance models are made in Fremont versus Austin? I saw someone saying that he lives in Texas and he got a performance model shipped from Fremont, questioning why is this happening? Wouldn't it be more effective to make it in Texas instead? Troy says, I don't know the reason, but Giga Texas makes only the long-range all-wheel drive version of the Model Y. And we do know that the Fremont factory is a bit overcrowded, so I'm a bit interested, why isn't Tesla moving any of the production to Giga Texas? Here are the latest Loaylty awards, and Tesla did very well, of course, but GM did well too. When it comes to overall loyalty to manufacturer, GM was the winner. Overall loyalty to a make, though, that's where Tesla won, and this is the most important number, I think. Highest conquest percentage, Tesla is the winner. And when it comes to EV specifically, of course, if you already have an EV, you are going to buy a Tesla. Seeing these loyalty rankings is really good news for Tesla because most of Tesla's customers of 2023 were, the absolute majority of them were brand new to the brand, which means that they will later buy a Tesla vehicle again. All other automakers have this advantage of people being really familiar with their brands and they already have huge customer bases, but not Tesla. Tesla still is building its customer base and it has to keep finding new customers. So Tesla is fighting an uphill battle here, but that will not be the case anymore 7 years from now, 10 years from now. By then, Tesla will have a lot of repeat customers coming back to the brand, upgrading their old vehicle, buying a new model. That's some more context to this. Here's the full February 2024 Consumer Report survey where car owners were asked would they buy the same vehicle again. Rivian finished number 1 with 86%. Mini was number 2, BMW, Porsche, and then Tesla. But this is more theoretical. Would you do this? I like the facts-based approach better, which is what S&P did. There's no guesswork there. Would you buy again? No. Did you buy it again? However, a year before that one, Tesla was number 3 at 78. Tesla's most recent score is 74. However, you also have to think about the price cuts. If you ask me if I happened to buy a Tesla in 2022 or 2023, would I buy my Tesla again? There's a much bigger chance I will say no, because in my mind, I would be thinking, oh, the price cuts, they made my car depreciate. So therefore, if I just would have waited for 9 more months, let's say, before changing to this vehicle, I would have saved so much money in terms of depreciation. It doesn't mean that I wouldn't buy a Tesla vehicle again. It just means I would not have bought that particular vehicle at that particular time, which is why I think this survey is not as important as what S&P published. Don't listen to what people say, watch what they do. If this appears like a strong statement, construction of Giga Mexico is set to start on March the 3rd, says the governor, which would actually make it this week, this Sunday. However, it remains unclear what work will begin on Sunday and whether it will be Tesla or the state performing the work, because Tesla previously requested the government to install the necessary infrastructure to support Giga Mexico. I assume it will be the state doing the work for now, but if that will be happening, it means Tesla will have to follow eventually. The first shipment of new Model 3s arrived in Vancouver. These are specifically made in Giga Shanghai. However, none of them are going to be delivered to the customers in British Columbia, it appears. They will be sent to other places. So there's still a bit of a delivery wave going on. Is this really happening? Is this real life? IF metal strike leads to more sales for Tesla? Really? Tesla sales in Sweden's jump over 100% in the January to February period despite the strike. As of late February, Tesla Sweden has delivered about 1,500 cars to customers in the country. That's more than double the number of vehicles that Tesla delivered in Sweden in the same period last year. We need to see the data from the full quarter because last year there was still a bit of a delivery wave at the end of the quarter. But if this trend continues, this is absolutely hilarious and embarrassing for the IF Metal Union. You have to see this news report. If you buy a Tesla Cybertruck, they will even put you on the local news. You're basically a celebrity once you buy it.
I'm in what they call the front trunk of a Tesla Cybertruck. I met with a San Diego man who owns it. He's one of the select few, and it really draws a crowd. In America's finest city, where unique rides are a dime a dozen,
it's the raddest thing out there.
Alex Shamanyan stands out with his Tesla Cybertruck.
The best reaction I received was, did you build this yourself? Did you get it shipped from outer space? Is it a space vehicle?
Cruising through the streets, his futuristic vehicle has become an instant head turner.
Holy smokes.
Can I take a picture of that?
Drawing admiration and curiosity from onlookers wherever it goes.
This is one of the most beautiful, eye-catching things I've ever seen.
I've never seen something like this.
Yeah, exactly. Seeing it in person for the first time is, I've not felt like a rush like this in a little bit of time. It's pretty unbelievable.
More of these Cybertrucks are being spotted in Southern California, but they're still hard to get. Thousands are on a wait list. Alex just got his 2 weeks ago after placing an order online 4 years ago without test driving it, since Tesla does not have a dealership.
It was a total shot in the dark, sight unseen.
The fully electric vehicle cost him around $100,000, and he didn't drive it for the first time until he picked it up.
I actually shed a tear when I picked it up. It made me cry.
He let me ride along and showed me how quickly it picks up speed.
Are you ready?
I'm ready. Oh no, And then I gave it a try. He let me drive behind the wheel. Let's give it a go. While the Cybertruck gets some mixed reviews,
it doesn't look like a car, honestly.
Or a truck.
Yeah.
It's kind of the stupidest thing I've ever seen in my life. Car, it looks like something a 5-year-old should play with.
Yeah, it's like a bunch of shapes. Like if you tried to draw a car but like weren't good at drawing.
But my husband loves the Cybertruck and he's going to be so jealous that we saw it in person while he was at home.
Alex is proud to lead the charge in a San Diego electric revolution.
But they're definitely worth it.
Ariana Cohen, CBS 8.
Cybertruck is great advertising for Tesla. Obviously, it's drawing so much attention. The next time someone talks about slowing EV demand, just read this headline from the year 2000. Internet. Maybe just a passing fad as millions give up on it. Yep, literally every single one of you who is watching this right now is using the internet at this moment. Unless you downloaded this video earlier, but you still use the internet to access this video. So 24 years later, it's absolutely obvious that this headline, aged like a Gordon Johnson Tesla stock prediction, will be able to say the same thing about EV adoption rates later. There's this Ron Barron clip from 2020, which I think is extremely relevant today. Take a look, it's only a minute long.
But now things have all come together. And, but in the period of time since 2014, the stock price didn't change very much through last summer. So through last summer, our $219 stock was $230, $240. So we made 10%, 20%, 30%. At the same period of time, the company's business, we focus on business, not stock prices. The company's business had grown from $2.8 billion of annual revenues to $25 billion of annual revenues, eightfold. So the company's up eightfold, stock's up 20%, 10%. Now what's happening, this is just catch up. Now this year, Tesla is going to do somewhere around $32 billion of revenues. And I guess that they're going to do $100 billion of revenues within 4 years. And I think they have potential for $1 trillion of revenues within 10 years. So basically, you're looking at the very start of what's going to happen with Tesla. This could be one of the largest companies in the whole world.
I like Ron's approach, focusing on business and not stock prices. Is FSD getting better? Clearly it's getting much better with FSD 12. We know that Tesla is working on the next generation vehicle, and I'm convinced that it will be the world's best-selling vehicle, and that will clearly take Tesla's business to the next level, as well as revenue. And Ron Barron was completely right about Tesla's revenue. It is now about $100 billion annually. And here's Ron Barron's $7 billion fund, and Tesla stock is still 32% of his whole capital allocation inside of this fund. He's not selling any Tesla stock. He still sees a very bright future ahead for Tesla. I think Cybertruck is a perfect vehicle for California. This happens all the time in certain areas of California. Cybertruck is a perfect solution to this issue. Clearly, the thieves are not getting inside the Cybertruck because of the upgraded glass that is not found in regular vehicles. He just cannot get in. Elon Musk has now reposted this and millions of people have seen it. He's going to make the exact same face again once he realizes that millions of people have seen him and they all know that he's a thief. I hope the police finds him and puts him in jail, but I don't think California is going to do that. I mean, he might get arrested, but he will probably be released. Now, this would be a perfect Tesla commercial. I'm not going to play the whole video, but let's just say that he throws a brick and the brick serves him justice. However, it turns out that this was an altered vehicle. It was not a Cybertruck. This video is from a few years ago. He threw it at the wrong place, or that car's windows have been upgraded. Here's an example of FSD beta driving better than human drivers. You can see that it says stay clear of this area, and there are some cars trapped in the intersection. And only now the vehicle goes as it should. And the reason why you definitely want to stay clear of that intersection is because trains go through this area. So well done, Tesla, well done. Did you know that 55% of Republicans say there's no chance at all they would consider buying an EV in the next decade, compared to only 14% of Democrats and 28% of independents who say the same? I think Elon's politics being a little bit more aligned with the right is going to help convert some of these people to EV owners later on. Both the Tesla Cybertruck and Xpeng X9 are manufactured using massive Giga Presses. The Cybertruck's castings are bigger but require less clamping force than the X9's. Tesla is more efficient, which is what really matters. Here's a list of all of the vehicles that are built with Giga castings in 2024. You can see Tesla, obviously, Xpeng, Zeekr, Neo, Huawei, and one more. There was a successful SpaceX launch. Due to continued design improvements, this Falcon 9 carried its highest ever payload of 17.5 tons of useful load to a useful orbit. And Starlink Direct to Cell is finally live. This post was sent through a SpaceX direct-to-cell satellite in space. And a satellite engineering director at SpaceX says this was the tree cover in a small valley in the Santa Cruz Mountains earlier in the day when we were exchanging some DMs on X. The trees, of course, would obstruct the signal quality, so that's pretty impressive. And the post was made from a normal mobile phone straight to a SpaceX satellite with no special equipment in between. Okay, so SpaceX is disrupting multiple industries, the internet, and now mobile communications too. It is not just about the rockets. The US Energy Secretary says the US is on track to meet 50% EV target by 2030 despite slowing growth. And of course, Tesla's next generation vehicle will be instrumental in accelerating the EV adoption rate in the US. I would have no confidence for FSD 11 to actually perform this well. There's a vehicle on the left side and it changes the lanes perfectly in time. FSD 12 continues to impress me. FSD 11 would have probably just done this and would have freaked me out and I would have disengaged, and if I would not have disengaged, it would probably just stopped in front of that vehicle and scared the vehicles going by. Because of course it's scary when your vehicle does this and you see the steering wheel move like that, but it's also really scary to see someone else drive with this, where the vehicle doesn't completely just move forward, but it does a little bit of wiggling. That happened to me once on FSD 11 and I felt like a complete idiot. It's not that it did anything wrong, it just embarrassed me in front of other strangers. I don't think that's going to be the case with FSD 12 looking at these clips. Oh, a Tesla executive just dunked on some manufacturers. Every EV model from any brand contributes to the Tesla mission and is celebrated internally as contributing to the acceleration of sustainable transport. But I am tired of the announcements of new EV models and press releases about EV investments by manufacturers who then spend huge amounts of lobbying dollars to weaken pollution standards in market after market. Generally, these polluters have not been very successful, but their tactics to weaken pollution standards, price on pollution, directly lead to an anti-EV public debate. Toyota was the vehicle that drove past me yesterday and made me cough like that, which of course is definitely not relevant to what Rohan Patel is talking about here. Oh, I didn't know about this. The Cybertruck's big display has higher resolution than the screen found in the Model S's and X's, which ensures that the image displayed on Cybertruck's big screen is crisp and clear and not blurry. If you recall, the European Union is not happy with BYD, but BYD is building a plant in Hungary which will help BYD avoid these higher tariffs. And BYD expects to begin producing cars before the end of next year, an incredibly rapid pace for an industry where factories can take 4 more years to complete, but that's just an estimate. We'll see if that actually happens. This is not China, this is Europe we're talking about.
Cybertruck! Cybertruck! Cybertruck!
I don't think I've seen a single video of kids chanting Lamborghini or Audi or Volkswagen. All of these kids are gonna go home and they will not shut up and they will keep talking about this Cybertruck, and some of their parents might actually take a look at Tesla. Maybe not necessarily a Cybertruck, but maybe a Model Y or a Model 3, because Tesla's brand will be at the top of their mind. The Cybertruck tour in China continues and it draws some huge crowds. FSD 12 driving in a Costco parking lot, and we are entering a tricky, hairy situation here, and yet it's smooth. It's smooth. Yeah, FSD 11 and parking lots. Good experiences were about as common as Stephen Mark Ryan not making any girlfriend jokes in his videos. I mean, possible. And look how natural it acts. I sped up to 2x, but it's keeping distance when another vehicle is parking. It's not going too close, and it starts going exactly at the right moment. There's a vehicle in the front, so it gives it more distance, slows down, and only speeds up when it's appropriate to do so. This is... yeah, these FSD 12 clips are pretty impressive. FSD 11, yeah, this would be not a smooth experience. This is still a 2x speed, but look at the car slowing down for a speed bump. It just smooth. It's appropriate. Whereas before, yeah, this would have been such a challenge. It's really impressive. I cannot emphasize it enough. Again, another speed bump, and it slows down again. We know that Fred is sometimes critical of Tesla. He just wrote this article about the loyalty of Tesla customers to the brand. And he says, I have owned 3 Tesla vehicles and I'm considering buying another one that's despite my auto wipers not working, Tesla not delivering the promised self-driving that I bought 5 years ago, and my disappointment with the company's government. The cars are so good that I'm willing to look past all that and get a new one. So yes, I'm not surprised that Tesla is topping the brand loyalty list. Yeah, I'm getting really excited for FSD V12. This is it for today's video, by the way. Like and subscribe if you haven't yet. I'm getting so excited about it, although I'm trying to keep my personal expectations low for it. But then I see these FSD videos and then I get excited. But yeah, look at how well it works. It just drives here without any issues. I want to get this for my vehicle and see how it actually is for me. Oh, well, I guess it wasn't, it made a tiny little, I don't think I would call it a mistake. If you can rewind and see that interaction with that stop sign. It stopped and then it sort of stopped again. Not fully, but sort of. But I think that's because of the NHTSA regulation, which makes the vehicle stop fully at a stop sign, which is completely silly in the US because no one stops. And sometimes where the stop line is drawn makes not much sense. Not always, but often. So, yeah. Anyway, I'm getting excited about FSD. Like and subscribe if you haven't yet, and I will see you in tomorrow's episode.